It's yeah, I'm good. I'm really looking forward to this one because obviously it's a big part of kind of a wider announcement we've been doing recently about sort of ratings in F1 Manager 2022 and how that all kind of plays into the game and factors in around like development and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm hyped for this one.
Good.
Yeah, really excited. But I'm more excited because we have
another guest. Yes. We are also joined by a very special guest. Yes, we are also joined by
Carlos.
Carlos,
Lopez.
Yes.
Yep.
Carlos Lopez. Hello. How
Hello.
you doing?
Yeah, good to be here. It's a pleasure to be in this what I think has become a mythical room in the in the history of Frontier.
The F1 cave.
The F1 cave. Yeah. Our meme den.
Properly decorated as well.
Yeah.
Which I really like. No, it's really good to be here. I think it's going to be an interesting discussion. It's obviously a very interesting part of the game. It's a main kind of feature that people like. So yeah, it's really good to be here with you guys.
Should we ask, should we give an overview to everybody joining the show, what do you do here at Frontier and kind of what do you take control of when it comes to F1 Manager 2022?
Sure. So I'm a senior data designer, so I joined back in 2020, so fairly recent, long enough to do some work on this. So it's been mainly gathering data. There's been a lot of data gathering, I can say that, but also a bit of programming. So basically just making sure that the game was as data-driven and as authentic as we could make it. So everything to do with, let's think about node speeds, trajectories in the race sim, making sure those were replicating real-life behaviors. Obviously the latest one was driver ratings, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. Perfect person to talk to.
Lovely segue there from Carlos as well. So I think now I've got one good segue, you've done one good segue.
Probably, maybe not.
And now Carlos has done one good segue, so that's fantastic.
Segues, so.
Perfect for me to give you guys an idea of what we're going to be doing on this stream. So as you may have guessed from the title and what we've been talking about, we've been revealing our driver ratings over the last couple of days, and today's stream is really to kind of go over those in a little bit more detail and give you guys a little bit of insight into some development interest as well in terms of how you're gonna develop your drivers, because those driver ratings aren't fixed. It's all going to change over a season as a driver develops. So we're going to give you a little bit more insight into that. We're going to discuss what all those stats mean, and yeah, we're going to have
we've got another special guest.
We have another special guest. Yes, again, you may have noticed from our title and stuff, we are joined by Arav later on from Quadrant fame, who's going to be having a little chat with us as well. So should we get into it?
Yeah, I guess maybe a bit of a recap as well. You know, this live stream today is kind of part of a wider kind of event we're doing through this week, which began yesterday. So yeah, yesterday across our F1 Manager 2022 channels, we revealed the starting overall ratings for every single real-world driver in F1 Manager 2022, which is a huge thing always. Whenever it comes to games like this, the overall ratings, the big ratings, that's always a huge discussion point. We've seen that over the last 24 hours. It's been really cool just seeing everybody like, this is right, this is wrong, this should be higher, this should be lower. It's always going to be like that.
It's always spicy.
Yeah,
it's always spicy.
Absolutely. So yeah, so we revealed those yesterday across all of our channels. Best place to go if you want to check them out is our website, www.f1manager.com.
It is .com.
Yeah. I had a bit of a brain up there. Yeah. So head to our website. We can check it out. At the bottom, the latest news article, you can see a full list of every single driver. So that's the complete. All 20 drivers from the F1 grid, also a reserve driver for every single F1 team, and then also F2 and F3 drivers. So huge amount of drivers. The overall starting rating for all of them officially revealed, but as part of that article you see a really nice kind of deep dive on how ratings in the game work and how they will dynamically develop over time. You can check that out, but we're also going to go into detail on that during this show. So yeah, we're lined up, we're ready to go. We're gonna walk people through it. It's going to be good.
We are, yes. So let's get into it. Let's get the game up, and we'll have a quick look at some.
Yeah, let's bring the game up. Yeah.
So we are currently using Ferrari.
Yes.
That is our choice for today.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to be focusing pretty much. We're going to be looking at a lot of this menu, aren't we? We're going to be looking at the drivers.
That's true.
And we're also going to have a look at the staff and stuff as well to kind of give you a deeper dive into those ratings.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into it.
So we have shown it in previous live streams, but there'll be a lot of people here who maybe have not seen the game before, maybe missed our last live stream. So we're basically, when you'll begin the game from sort of your home screen, your inbox over here on the left-hand side of the tabs, but your driver section in the game is where always you can go to check out, your drivers, their stats, things like their contract, and anything like that that might be relevant to your team's drivers. And also, as you can see, there's the scout drivers area where you can look at the market of drivers to potentially scout, or maybe even try and approach and hire another driver. So yeah, we're going to start here, and you can see you got Charles and Carlos, obviously the two main drivers for Ferrari, but also the reserve driver. We mentioned a moment ago we have reserve drivers, and we have Antonio Giovinazzi as one of the drivers in the game. So maybe we'll use Antonio as kind of our guinea pig almost for this, to kind of show his ratings and how it all works.
Yeah.
Are we okay with that? Go, Antonio? Fantastic.
Here we go.
So we have a bunch of statistics up here, but what we could probably do, Carlos, we have you. We can talk
we have
you
the
through
expert.
it. Do you want to tee him up maybe first, Steve, with a question?
Yes.
We've got a few ones to go
So
through.
obviously the main thing we've shown off at the moment is the overall ratings, but the overall ratings are really just the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot below below the water is the word I'm looking for.
Surface?
Yeah, below the surface.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
To unravel, and we've got them here. So you can see here we've got these performance ratings, and they're broken down into sort of 3 key elements.
Yeah.
So if you want, Carlos, can you just run us through what we've got here and why they're broken down into sort of pace, consistency, and racecraft? Those are kind of our 3 main pillars, if you will.
Yep.
So yeah, if you could just give us a little run through of these.
Sure, I can do. So we've decided to group 3 stats under each of their own topics. So as you can see at the top, you have pace, which includes cornering, braking, and reactions. So those 3 are very race sim specific. So they are constantly in use in some sessions more than others. So if you think about the race, and if you think about specific tracks as well, you'll have tracks with more corners, tracks with a bit less corners, like Monza.
Right.
Same with braking. So if you think again about Monza, there's quite heavy braking zones there. Not so much in other tracks like Hungaroring. So those race sim specific pace related stats do come into play quite a lot during the race sim. Same with reactions. On the second one, consistency.
Yeah.
They're not conditional. They also happen at all times during the event, during the session you're playing. But they do have different effects on the race sim. So accuracy roughly controls how in line the car stays with the optimal trajectory. So if you think of an optimal trajectory, which they usually try and do in qualifying, which is the full beans out lap they try to do.
The full beans mode.
Full beans mode. They try to go as quickly as you can, and obviously accuracy is really important for this in this aspect, in this context. Control. It's also very important, but it's a bit more specific to the race sessions, because what this does, as you can see on the white text, is the ability to prevent racing incidents. So it does have an effect on 3 out of 4 of the racing incidents that we do have in the game. So control basically makes sure that the driver doesn't do anything too crazy. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Smoothness, on the other hand, is effectively the tool that allows you to extend your stints, so go as long as you can. It's basically the stat that allows you to preserve your tires better, so reduces tire wear while you're racing. Obviously, as I said, control and smoothness probably are not as important in practice, I would say, because obviously in practice you have different targets from the race. Obviously in the race you want to reach the highest finishing position possible. In practice you have to basically try and hit those targets. Smoothness is actually a bit important for practice, not control not so much, but smoothness is, because it does give you some idea of how the tires are going to perform in the race.
Okay, so potentially, so using smoothness as an example, say we've said before in other live streams and other content, you can run in all practice sessions in the game, and doing so allows you to gather information and gather data about the car, about the track, and stuff like that. So essentially, if you're running in those practice sessions with a driver, so we can see here, for example, Antonio Giovinazzi, 87 out of 100 for smoothness. That's pretty good. That's a very high rating for smoothness. So does that basically mean that you are in a better position as a team principal running in practice sessions with a driver like Giovinazzi because he's very smooth and he's more likely to get good data, good lap times, hit targets. Is that basically right?
Yes, it depends on what your target is.
Right,
so
okay.
if you want to really plan the strategy for, let's say, Sainz and Leclerc in this case, maybe you want to run them too, because then you get a very precise indication of how they're going to perform in the race with their smoothness stat and the strategy that you select for both of them. But it is true that with the targets that you have in practice, maybe having Giovinazzi allows you to go longer into a stint during practice, which then gives you more or quicker setup feedback. So in practice, that's one of the big things, setup feedback. It does contribute a lot to your confidence on the car.
Okay.
So yeah, that is a strategy that you can do, and it does help you in practice as well.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, then we got the last few then. So obviously this is the racecraft area. So we can see these ratings are related to the driver's ability to fight for positions and maintain raw pace in changing